Happy Wednesday. Here we are. The power in the Holy Ghost. It's Wednesday. I don't know why Wednesday should be so exciting, but I'm sure there's something to be excited about today. I want to talk today about spending and saving. Thinking about kind of learning the art of lean excellence. That's what I would call this really. Again, we're talking about productivity. We're talking about living a productive, fruitful life. And I think that spending and saving are parts, two sides of the same slippy coin. It's really productivity is all about balancing these two opposites: spending time, spending thought, attention, and energy, saving thought, attention, and energy, spending money, saving money. There's a right time to spend and there is a right time to save. And really the balance of these two in our personal and business lives is quite an art and a science, I think. There's an old proverb. It's the kind of thing that I would have expected my grandma to say, this one, so do forgive me. But there's an old proverb that says a penny saved is a penny earned. The less we spend, the more we earn, ultimately, because really we don't just want to be a thoroughfare for the things that come into our life, just like some huge pipe that just like things pour in and pour out just as quickly, if not quicker than the kind of the input. But it's very easy to accumulate expenses, and that unchecked accumulation leads to a big pile of disorganization that can bleed the profit from our lives. Take for example, and I may just be confessing my sins here, but take for example the inclination to buy all sorts of fancy software and over expensive services, thinking that somehow just having those services or those pieces of software is somehow going to magically transform the output from our lives. And let's be clear, sometimes these things can be a great investment. I do believe in investing in the right tools to get the job done. But truth be told, sometimes we can actually get further on a push bike if we ride it well than if we have a motorcycle that simply sits on our driveway. It's not really the power and the prowess of the tool that we have. The question is, are we using it to accomplish whatever end or whatever goal we've set in mind? And I think sometimes the tendency or the temptation can we can fall into we can fall into a ditch on either side of this. We can be unwilling to spend where it's necessary, and where spending would be beneficial to move our business forward or our personal lives. There are applications for this really across the board, our spiritual lives. And then on the other side, we can be kind of too willing to spend because we think that if we've got all of the like bells and whistles, somehow it's going to transform into increase. It's not always that's not always the case. And I've been rolling back and just giving consideration to, because as I say, sometimes things do tend to accumulate, and unchecked and untested, and when we don't kind of come and audit our lives and our businesses on a regular basis, we can find that we're actually spending out for all sorts of services that we're not actually using anymore. you know, and to ask ourselves, what services am I paying for that are not paying for themselves is a great question. What services and products are we dropping money on for no reason? What are the opportunities that we have within our business to that where we can save and still see the same results? Think around these questions in terms of time as well. You know, when we look and we can think, where are we spending time that where that time could be better saved and spent elsewhere? Make an inventory of your outgoings and ask if they are wise spend or save investments. And the answer to that question is going to be very dependent. Sometimes the best thing you can do is spend. Sometimes the best thing you can do is save. I spend money on some services because they save me time, and the saving outweighs the spending. I spend time on some activities because they save me spending over the odds to have someone else do that work for me. Spend or save. And lean excellence, I think, is where we work our system through the mental gym to shed the excess. It doesn't mean that we live in living lean, I think, is a good idea, but living with a poverty mindset is something quite different. Living with a mindset that is kind of geared towards, I don't have enough, I can't afford. All of those kind of confessions that we make can really build up a mindset that kind of keeps us very much corralled into a small way of thinking and a small way of doing. But at the same time, you know, being overexerting ourselves for no good purpose is kind of equally as limiting, because we're always the over expenditure either of time, energy, or money that kind of thinking takes means that we don't grow and give ourselves room to breathe, room to experiment, room to explore, because we don't have margin to work with. You know, I've made mistakes on both sides of this spectrum, applying false economy of time and money on many occasions. I once I once discovered this autoresponder service. You know, like autoresponders where you can kind of set up your emails and blast out emails to kind of lists of people, set up kind of automatic sequences of emails that go out, and etc. It can be quite expensive. To have a decent autoresponder can be quite a healthy and quite a substantial monthly outgoing. And I had the opportunity to kind of jump in with this cheap responder services where, quite honestly, the prices were too good to be true. And guess what? It turned out that the prices were too good to be true, and that service fell over on numerous occasions during the time that I worked with them, until it came to the point where I realized that this is a false economy. Not only was I losing subscribers, I was losing revenue, and quite honestly, saving money ended up being a huge expense to me. And then conversely, I've spent far too long at times trying to save a few extra dollars when I should have understood that wise and necessary expenditure is an investment, not a cost. Save and spend. You know, as an example of spending, I have, you know, there's an example of saving, looking to save money. And actually it ending up being an expense. But as an example, on the other side of things, where I realized that the saving of time and the saving of headaches was very, very much worth an investment. I produce online products and courses as part of my business. And at one time I was bootstrapping this at every turn. And to be honest, in the early days, that was necessary. My online training arm, as I was learning the ropes, was serviced by websites that I built myself. And they were all operating bolstered by plugins to handle the membership and the content delivery. And then I had other services that would take payments and handle the affiliate side of things. And then another one to take care of secure hosting. And I was always on the lookout for kind of leaner, cheaper ways to keep the machine oiled and running. But the savings in dollars in that kind of bootstrapping mentality were offset by spending a lot more time and quite a number of headaches kind of fitting all the working pieces together and trying to keep everything up and running in a smooth manner, particularly because technology moves on and there's just always a need to keep everything oiled and up to date, or stuff just stops working, or certainly working as smoothly as you might want it to. And so after several years, I took the plunge and I chose a service called Podia. And it's important that I think it's just important that we choose to recognize where the value lies in any season that we're working in. Podia takes care of all of those working parts for me, and has got unlimited video hosting. It's got unlimited courses that I can create there. It's got unlimited products, digital products that I can service through there. I can take my payments through it, work with affiliates through it. There are elements of it, like say, for example, the affiliate side of things that is very weak. And there are other parts of that service that are very strong. So, is it the best? Maybe not in some respects. But again, I needed to, thinking lean and wanting to be excellent, wanting to serve my end user well, but at the same time save and not just spend to service that and help that to happen. Is Podia the best platform for that? Maybe not in some respects, but again, it's that balance of does the best job and does a good job. The difference in price between those two can be huge. And you can choose maybe what's considered to be the best, but ultimately it can be costing you a great deal more for incremental benefits that you're getting from it. I found Podia to be a great balance between the features that it gave me and the leverage that it gave me, and what it actually costs me to utilize. And so it's just looking for ways to spend well, it's looking for ways to save well, and and just knowing the relative value in whatever season you're in to gauge the spend save equation. And it will change as seasons go, as seasons go by, as you grow, as your priorities and the balance of time and money changes. It's your answer to some of these questions is going to shift and change, and so it should. And so I would just encourage you to look in this kind of productivity conversation that we're having right now. Are there areas where you are spending unnecessarily? And are there other areas where maybe you're seeking to save, but it's a false economy because it's costing you a great deal in time, where spending on an appropriate service would relieve you of that and free up all of that mental and emotional space for you to actually begin to more effectively create and deliver content to your audience. And of course, as with everything, Jesus first, everything else follows. Let the Holy Ghost lead you to creative solutions in your life and business that will both serve you, your family, and the world. And He will guide you and direct you during this season to spend and save wisely.